Hello, and welcome to the Youth Pulse podcast with me, Diko De Andrew, where we discuss pressing issues of this generation with heartful conversation, inspiring stories, and diverse perspective on girl-child marriage, reproductive health, education, youth champions, and climate, among other compelling topics, meeting your needs. Join us today to be informed, empowered, and engaged. The Youth Pulse podcast is speaking from our hearts. Welcome to the Youth Pulse podcast, and this is the last of it all, in which it had been a nice journey, but we're not going to be talking about all this emotional talk because we have an episode to talk about, and this time we are talking about some hormones and being honest, because between hormones and of course being honest, what do we need to know when it comes to our reproductive health and as well our sexual life as a youth in South Sudan? And when it comes to us understanding our body, making informed decision, we are talking about why it's crucial to adolescents in boys and girls get support they need, because this episode is for you and for me as well. So let us break the silence and ask the question and empower ourselves with knowledge. So why not we introduce our guest for this very episode as we are continuing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good afternoon,
Okay.
Diko. With you here today is Clara Peter, a medical student at the University of Juba.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
third year.
welcome.
Thank you.
Any other talent apart from that?
No, I'm not talented. Oh, you can say I've not yet discovered my talent.
You haven't, yeah? Okay,
Mhm.
interesting. Welcome to the Youth Pulse podcast, Clara. And you, sir?
Thank you so much, Diko. So excited to be here.
Yeah.
It's Emmanuel John Sherillo, a medical student at the University of Juba too.
Okay.
Uh,
Interesting that today we are having all doctors, because it will be more of an insight for them to talk to us more about it. Because like us being honest, yeah, where did you hear first about sex, and even how accurate was it? Because in our society it's a little bit ish. Was it a friend? Was it your phone? Was it a video? Or what? Like, where did you guys hear about it before?
the first time I got to know about sex was back then in primary, where I
Mhm.
had some of my colleagues talking about getting on top of a woman and stuff, but I
Yeah.
was kind of confused and
Yeah.
I really didn't understand what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounded, so interesting at that time. That's how I got to know about sex.
Clara?
Same here. I studied in a boarding school, of course, Most times you were just with your friends and so
Yeah.
on. So this is where I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to such a conversation, I feel like when it became girl sex ولا علاقة جنسية, like Benita Bena Taniki Ama disease. They'll be like,
Yeah.
you are it a karabu. Well, even like they started just thinking about some weird things, yeah. But when it comes to me, like the first thing we heard about it, or of course it's just the same conversation we're having. They were saying Johilla, Yal Johilla. And more in detail, it was in P7 or P8. The Mambada de Resulinas
Yeah, in
can
science
in
classes.
science, and it was a little bit also tricky because it wasn't more into details. That's
Yeah.
why we just get to know it, but also بالضبط, but we didn't get to know about it more. So if reproductive health were explained, like what will it be, or whenever it comes to the consent, like asking someone like how can we explain reproductive health to someone or a young person?
Okay.
Reproductive health is, a very important aspect of life. For you to really understand reproductive health, you're required to, have some knowledge on health, more specifically the reproductive part, and then how to protect yourself, and then you add more of consent to it so that you can be careful about what you decide relating to your body.
And even at some point begin لأن زي taboo مثلا begin زي حاجة حرام كده نمان if you talk about sex or even
Yeah,
reproductive
yeah,
health
yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, mostly like in some communities, it's like you're not supposed to talk about it anyhow. That's why most young girls grow up not knowing about their bodies, diseases.
Yeah.
Taban, if you know about your body, you have to know about your health and then diseases that can come
Yeah.
from it, okay? So that's why you find that most these rural areas are the ones with having a lot of like diseases that are related to health, to your sex, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And when it comes to our community, like, why do people act when they mention condoms or they mention about sex? Kano de haja halas. Then the dunya like this sort of things, like it's a don't say something like this in the middle of it, because like it also lead into early pregnancy, because I feel like if the youth are being enlightened about, or they made awareness about such conversation, we'll be avoiding such many other stuff. So like what can be done whenever like we are supposed to be talking about this or setting awareness? Let it not sound like a taboo or a haja haram.
Okay, you know, our communities have made sex so sacred to the extent that they don't easily talk about it, and then they end up facing challenges related to sex.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's better for us to face reality and accept the fact that these contraceptives, like for example, the pills and then the other methods like the condoms, are here to save you.
Yeah.
If you make use of them, you will at least try to prevent most of the challenges that come about unprotected sex, such as early pregnancies and then the sexually transmitted diseases. So our people should face reality and accept the fact that these things have been brought for them to protect themselves.
And Clara, do you think like if we started having a very positive mentality, or we try to aware our society about the sexual health, like us not thinking about it like a taboo, yet we can think about it like it's a right for someone, especially for girls in the rural areas, because you mentioned that مشاكلات دائما بقين في مجتمعات اللي بكون ما في بلد، لكن أنا قاعد نحس even جوا مدينة we're still having the same challenges.
I think في مدينة هنا maybe it's due to illiteracy. Yeah, most children don't go to school, and then most of us learn this thing from our teachers, like our science teachers, but they don't clarify. Like they don't go into details. They just give shallow information. So I think it's better to create this awareness, even not at school alone, even in areas. It's important. Like some good schools, they do that. Like I remember in our school, like there is this girls meeting. Yeah, where they only do meetings for girls alone. Then they come and teach you about some things that you didn't know. Even like how to, like even when you're having your periods, how you could take care of yourself. Even before we had periods, okay, they would tell us. Then I'll know that there is something like that, but it has not yet come to me. You know, these kinds of awareness, it's important in schools, communities. Mostly young girls, they grow up, they don't know anything.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
For you, Emmanuel, when a girl is pregnant, of course, there might be jam in some words. It's both genders coming together. And I feel like boys have been excluded out from such conversation, because as I mentioned, for school, they talk more to girls about them than the boys being talked about it. So how do you think like including boys in such conversation can also prevent or avoid us from problems in future time?
As you said, you know, most of the boys are left out when it comes to decisions of reproductive health. So according to me, I think the boys have to be engaged in this sex education, so that they are given enough knowledge on how to protect themselves and also how to protect the girls that they are with. Because at times the decisions that are taken by the boys end up spoiling the lives of different girls. So it's very important to engage these boys in this education so that they get knowledge on how to protect themselves and also their partners.
Okay, but it's still when it comes to the boys, and Lisa Gardner has shabab tana ita kan bada wurin sikil wani sai kan ya dabta biya fa ma jira anna fa ma jira zaman, like there's this thing in them, like they know everything but yet they don't know everything. The ego and the pride that they do have in them sometimes also contribute in maybe if someone wanted to tell them something. Okay.
Yeah. As I said earlier, you know, the society makes sex secret, and then also they make it also sometimes feel like they make it feel like something that people should be knowing about even without being addressed. But according to me, I think our boys have to accept that they don't know and they come and learn, because there is a lot that they can really learn about reproductive health, how to prevent STDs, and you know how to prevent these early pregnancies, so that it happens at the right time,
Mm.
not just recklessly, like the way it happens around.
Okay. In regard to us talking about sexual reproductive health, or even our sexual life, there are many myths in our midst. Yeah, fi stories kita zato itama behis gala yadda hagiga. One of them, and I continue mentioning about zaman bikin kata kan gani jambu wala tabi hamil. Tabas kan gani zaman saran da bas garin kida mama hamil. So those are the some funny things like they used to be telling us in back in the days. What about you, Clara? What might be those myths that you ever heard of?
I also had like, there's this one, they say that if you have sex for the first time, you won't get pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also there's the other one that says like, when you have sex with someone, when that person is on their period, they're going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So these are the two common ones that I've ever heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
There is a funny one I heard about. They say if you have sex while standing, the girl won't get pregnant. You know. Then there is also a common practice that many people have in mind. They say, you know, after sex, if you wash with Dettol, it won't lead to pregnancies and
that
stuff.
Yellow
But these
fitari
are all
kaman
lies.
became very like abula panadol. You have to take 4
Yeah, I've ever heard of that one.
ita kana bola arba panadol like ita ma bitala hamila. And I feel like I get the kulu it relating us to us educating ourselves. Lana madari zama school fees zama bida fa sakit. Like in Bordeaux, I feel like it's the responsibility is starting from home. Like حاجة لو كان بدأ من بيت ممكن حاجة ده بتغير لكن كان even ناس تبيت لسه عندهم مفهومية الرجع. Yeah, they still have this the mentality still into them. But also, how do we convince adults that teaching us about our bodies doesn't mean we'll start misusing them? Because like I feel maybe one can alimita haja you're going to be misusing the information that you were taught with. So I don't know how will it be with you?
Yani, these adults should know that teaching us about our bodies, we are not going to misuse it, because when you're taught about your body, you'll also know about the health. You'll also know about your health, right? So you'll be able to know some diseases, which parts do they affect, methods of prevention, and so forth and so on. So I think it's important, like for us, to be taught about our bodies. Even it starts from home. When you're playing with water, they will tell you get flu. Now you know playing with too much water causes flu, and so forth and so on, right? Yeah. And so our parents should not take it like if we know about something, we're going to misuse it. But some people misuse it in their own ways. Like in there are also people who take it in the right way. Yeah. Finance barao.
To add on that, you know, getting to know about our bodies will give us enough knowledge on how to protect ourselves. And then in the part of convincing them, we can also give examples of countries that are so good on sex education and they have lowered on the rates of early pregnancies and the teenage pregnancies, like in Netherlands. Netherlands is one of the countries that introduces sexual education at the lower educational levels. Like for example, from primary, they already taught how to prevent to prevent unwanted pregnancies, how to have safe sex, and you know, a lot of things concerning reproductive health. So by introducing this sexual education at a lower primary level, it will give people knowledge on how to protect themselves.
And I think also maybe with our parents, they will think they have to give us everything. But yeah, أنا بحس أحيانا you just زي حبة in the لزوم كده. Can also age معين they can give them a certain information. And you can even give the information in a way that that person could understand according to their age. Can also مرحلة معين, then also you can explain a little bit deeper. Because bira one can jaraba, they will say like, I was taught this like this, I was taught this like this. And I think that can improve a little bit in what it can be happening in our society. But also when it comes to sex education, and some institution that are open, like what do you guys think about the youth-friendly clinic mean to you? One where a nurse doesn't raise the eyebrows or ask, like for instance, if you come for a checkup, for instance, or bibada fetisu background tataki takanjana tamunu, they come and look for your parents, and then gossip is spreaded around that jana tafilano makanja mulzere zere fi mustashfa kide.
Okay. Yani youth friendly. clinics, right? All clinics are supposed to be friendly because this is what we call medical ethics.
Yeah.
طبعا كان مريض جالك, you don't have to expose them, you don't have to make them feel bad. inshallah our doctor even used to tell us inshallah can ayan mashimut, at least you cannot even tell him tamashimut, you have no hope. At least you're yani all clinics are supposed to be friendly. Okay?
Yeah.
Yani ayan kan jalek inshallah kan ayan hagude gudur kef, you have to explain to that person ayan hagude kef yani kan ma indu ilach, even you're supposed to tell him عشان ما يرحل لزول كيف how to prevent
That's for sure.
يسمو منه. And sometimes حاجات تلقاها خلوا يمكن doctors or medical officials like to question them. يعني انت تلقى بيت بعمر 14 ولا 15 سنة بيجي بيقول قالوا داري خليه يركبوا له شريحة. This is where sometimes the question داري بيت منو يالتا عماد ديل وكده. That one I found it يعني بيت صغير ذاته, even at that age I didn't knew these things. لكن you find them coming ركب لي حاجة ده. Even I did not understand وكان قاصد شنو. أنا ذاته بعيني ما شفت الشريحة دي ذاته شكل قاعد كيف. This is where sometimes you question them like in Finland for their safety, because a child at that age coming to ask for that thing, that's really not good.
Could it be different?
Yeah, let me just add something small. Youth-friendly clinic in relation to reproductive health should be a place where nurses listen to different people that come to them, relating to different concerns about their sex, without judging or questioning them. They should be given knowledge freely. You know, most of our people at these clinics don't give knowledge freely. But in the youth-friendly clinics, they have to be given knowledge freely and without, you know, judging them and listening to their concerns. And also they should give them enough information relating to contraceptives or even use of condoms so that this youth can protect themselves well.
Okay. And when it comes to you mentioning about conservative isn't this
Contraceptive.
that one, like why do you feel احنا كشباب احنا بنخاف نمشي نسأل في أن بدك المستشفى تبي إنه ده إتبين يمين شمال كان في منارة, then you gonna ask, and even the mere condom sometimes like you have to check like يمين شمال, like is there someone that I know, or even that do they know me before I go and ask for these things?
I think it happens because first of all I would start with the clinics. You know, our people judge a lot sometimes, so this is one mistake that has to be corrected first. Our nurses or even the doctors or the pharmacists have to be so free with the people that come and get whatever they want. And then secondly, I think it's more like, you know, fear, because people fear, they don't want the nurses to know that they're going to do something with them and stuff. But people have to be free because these things are part of life and they are meant to protect you. So it has to be something free, you know. Going to get a condom should be something free. Going for contraceptives also has to be, you know, free at least, so that people make use of them in an easy way.
Okay. Clara?
Me, I'll just only talk about the other gender. I think it's their ego and fear. True. Most men fear like بيقولوا هسي ده جاي يشتري كده ده بونس ده بعمل شنو حاجات زي ده. Like even if a man is having بواسير ما تشوفوا بيمشي لدكتور طوالي قالوا عنده بواسير. They feel about their private parts. They're so checking it personal. Like so it's in our community where men fear, because community حاجاتنا men take themselves like they're the leaders or something like that. So عشان كده ممكن جنش يشتروا حاجات صغار زي ده ممكن يخافوا their ego, their fear stop them from doing that. But it's not supposed to be like that. It's your own protection. You have to take care of your health, take care of yourself. You don't spread it to the person you're going to.
And I think also you people both mentioned about ethics. I think that one thing not many medical personnel have learned about it. Can the doctors, can the nurses, even the people who are working in the institution have got to learn about it. Because like Anna can say condom, how is it your business? At least you're supposed to be even happy that I'm using condoms, because that will be avoiding the raising rates of HIV in the country. Or even when it comes to us maybe even testing for HIV, it's part of my own prevention, because like I don't know who that person is. I cannot trust everybody nowadays, by the
Yeah.
way. So I think if someone came with that thing to try to ask or trying to test or trying to buy aside things, I feel like they should even feel happy that there's still some good youth outside there thinking of protecting themselves. When it comes to you, Ima, and today you happen to be the Minister of Health in South Sudan, what will you be saying to the youth first, and mentioning about sex education and saving life in our community? Because, like as we mentioned, there's a lot of the do and the don'ts that we are not wanting to talk about, but I think maybe you being in a public eye or in a leadership position, you will have changed something, one or two.
Okay, I think I might not be able to meet all the youth as the Minister of Health in case I am. But what I will do, I will invest in youth-friendly spaces. These spaces will have most of these reproductive health instruments and things that concern their health, so that when you go to that youth-friendly space, you'll get whatever you want, get what you want to use, and then you will also get information from the doctors that will be there, and also the nurses that will be there. It will be mainly for mainly for spreading awareness and giving them enough knowledge on how to protect and protect themselves from STIs and then the unwanted pregnancies. That's what I will do.
Clara?
طبعا younger age يا دايما يكون عنده عوارض ديل كتير like teen pregnancies وديل like so as Emma said, awareness, creating awareness at schools, ما schools برا في ناس تانيين ما يدوروا مدارس. So even in areas, okay, لازم they should teach them about sex education. And then كمان like yeah, we have vaccines going around mush. Yeah, there's some STDs that can be vaccinated. They should also like give it to students. Yalla kaman in schools, like they can even offer like these medical checkups for children. In Juba here, children don't do medical checkups, but schools in Uganda, like if you're going for a new term, you have to come with a medical report to show that you're healthy, you don't have any disease. Yalla medical checkups still. Muhim fi tani nimkin wulido mam. They don't know. Yalla badem biji bas haratan age biga khalas. It's at stage biga khalas cap. So medical checkups they kaman muhim but marat. Yeah, this is what I would love to say.
This is the wrap up of today's episode and the last of it all, but we hope walking away with a little more clarity about our sexual life and as well how we can protect ourselves when it comes to such a conversation. It will not be ending here because it's you also, it's your responsibility. Whoever is going to be watching this or listening to this very episode, keep sharing it with your loved ones, and you never know where this information might be reaching someone. So got thoughts and questions, stories to share, we'd love to hear from you. Hit that up on our social media, and of course Youth Path Podcast is the name of this very podcast. And stay informed till next time or till next season. My name is Diko De Andrew. This have been the Youth Pulse Podcast.
The Youth Pulse Podcast
is speaking from our hearts.